row.
Like we always do about this time.
I'm gonna fight your fucking ass.
You don't got, you're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
There's a little snake in the grass.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
No forget these people.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I'm back.
Who the fuck is that guy? Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
I would like to introduce.
Welcome to the MMA for Money Show, episode 91. I'm your host, as always, Mike Copenaver, also known as Don't Cope Just Win on Twitter, aka Real Mike. You can call me. Joined with my producer of the show, T. How you doing, T?
What's up, everybody? Doing good.
Yeah, I totally butchered that shit. I totally was off track. But I just wanted to, we're coming on board to review the last weekend's UFC 27 review and to talk about some up-and-coming boxing matches, some up-and-coming UFC stuff, and some other stuff because there's no UFC this weekend. So I'd just like to thank the 25 of you here live viewing and just appreciate you all. With that said, I'd like to just say a special shout-out to our sponsors of the MMA for Money Show. The first sponsor is Melon Brand Hats, MELIN.com. Melon Brand Hats. They're a luxury line of hats with really intricate type of materials and just really cool stuff. My buddy Brian McDonald's the co-founder. It's really super cool hats. So go over there, get yourself a dope hat for this coming summer.
Yeah, Phil won the
Yep, and shout out to Phil Mickelson for winning the PGA Championship this weekend. Big, huge win for him, being 50 years old. Not many people win championships that long. So another sponsored Melon Brands user or subscriber. So shout out to Phil Mickelson for that W. But with that said, the second sponsor is Fokai Stuff, FOKAI Stuff.com. I just want to thank all of our boys over there at Guam. They make some of the coolest fight shirts, fight gear, beanies, just all the kinds of cool stuff. We've been supporting them since my brother got an Ultimate Fighter, and before them, I used to drive like 200 miles over to San Diego just to get some Fokai gear. So shout out to my boy Rome over there in Guam for Fokai.
I like those socks too. Socks,
yeah, dude, I got a pair of the socks. They're fire, bro. But last but not least, we got Spliff Seeds Amsterdam. It's SPLIFF Seeds. If you go to their site and look up Lemon Cream Kush Female, that's my plant featured there on the page. So just go get yourself some genetics for this growing season. And with that said, I'd like to just thank all those sponsors and also our sponsor of the show, Ryan Kick Your Bass on Twitter. Can't thank you enough, Ryan Richardson, for your support always. The MLB from Australia, thank you, lady, for being here. Nice to see you as well. And so with that said, we're going to jump into the review of UFC 27. This was one of those cards where, like I said last weekend, it was really hard for me to get up and just get excited for because it was just there wasn't very many matchups that you would know about to get excited for, and it was really hard to even make a show. But we did our best, and we did our best to cash a bet, which we'll get to later in the show. The first fight of the night was Damir Ismagulov. He fought Rafael Alves. He won a unanimous 3-round decision and basically dominated Rafael all around the cage. And then the next up on the card, we had David Dvorak, who won. He fought against Juan Ronderos. He won via rear naked choke in round 1. Super slick dude, David Dvorak. But I think they replaced someone on short notice because I don't remember that matchup even being there last week. So, yeah, Paiva got
I think a couple fights they did that with.
Yeah. Yeah, they got switched around, so it really throws you off when you're doing that. But yeah, he got switched. But Ronderos unfortunately fell into the hands of a savage. David Dvorak won rear naked choke round 1. Then next up on the card, we had Joshua Kubal. He fought Shaylin Nubek, and this is another one I believe that they just threw at us. But Josh Kubal won unanimous decision, 3-round affair. And we liked Joshua Kubal last week. We figured that he would be a little bit too much for his opponent, but I believe – not sure if they switched it on him as well. But next up, we had Bruno Silva versus Victor Rodriguez. Bruno Silva won via savage TKO KO right cross and ground and pound versus Victor Rodriguez. We said last weekend that Victor Rodriguez was in for a rude awakening versus our boy Bruno Silva, and sure as shit, Bruno just smashed him to the ground. I actually thought he'd get a submission, but he ended up getting a TKO KO. You had that up for inside the distance, right, T?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I was happy with it.
Yeah, nice catch there, T. Because if you didn't hit inside the distance and you just went for the submission, like I liked him in the fourth there, you missed out. But T got the inside the distance and ended up cashing. So shout out to you for getting the big favorite. It was like negative 335. So at least you made money a lot easier. Next up, we had Court McGee, who fought Claudio Silva. We both picked Court McGee to just be a little too much with the XP versus Claudio Silva. It didn't have the gas tank to last all 3 rounds. And it was literally like a wet blanket, Court McGee all over Claudio Silva. And pretty much Claudio had no answers for that. What did you think about that one, T?
Yeah, it went exactly like we thought it would. Dude just couldn't, gassed out, got tired. He just, like, what is it? In the middle of the second round, you could just see it in him. He just starts, like, his gas tank is just gone,
Yeah, really, like I said, he's just a 1 minute man. So he really showed it there, and his gas tank was there was no gas tank. So ended up losing versus the veteran Court McGee in a 3-round unanimous decision. So nobody had it for Claudio Silva at all. And then next up on the fight we had up next was the one that we were most excited for. It was Ben Slothwell versus Chris Barnett, the Kung Fu Panda. And man, we were mostly just getting fired up for no reason, but we really like Chris Barnett as a fighter and just
I wanted
as a
to see him break dance, man.
I know, man.
Rothwell.
I wanted to see him do some kind of gummy bear, but Rothwell. Remember, I told you, T, that Rothwell had a submission that he liked to go to. It's called a go-go choke. It says guillotine choke on the submissions, but it's actually a go-go choke. It's a really specific move that Ben Rothwell does. And so shout out to Ben Rothwell for cashing that round 2 submission by go-go choke, not guillotine choke as
they got to bring Barnett back and give him somebody he can beat, bro. I like watching him. If we're going to watch them big heavyweights, I really don't mind watching them fight.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to the live viewers. We got Jackie Girl out here now. Thank you so much for supporting. Like I said, Mel B, Justin Williams, thank you for the support, brother. Ryan Richardson, our active sponsor from Blue Springs. I appreciate you, dude. He's one of the best professional fishermen in the world. So go to support him on Twitter. Kick Your Bass on Twitter. So Kick Your Bass on Twitter. Follow him. He's a really good guy named Ryan Richardson. Great dude. So just want to say shout out to all you guys just watching us and supporting the show. And then so the next fight of the night, we had Jack Hermanson versus Edmund Shabazian. Jack Hermanson won a 3-round decision versus the kid Edmund Shabazian. And I think I was favoring Edmund a little bit just because I liked his striking, but he was doing decent in the first round, but then the last 2 rounds he just fell victim to the blanket of Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson won a unanimous 3-round decision. What'd you think about that fight, T? Did you have any money on that one?
Yeah, I took Edmund because I just felt like after fighting Brunson, he'd be able to get this one done. And I mean, he had it won, and then Hermanson just turned up on him, put him on his ass, and just kept him there. So I kind of thought that would happen. I just give Edmund too much credit.
I thought he would learn a little bit. I thought he would learn a little bit from the loss versus Brunson. But and I didn't think that Jack Hermanson had the takedown game, but he ended up having the cardio game to get the takedowns in the end, so it ended up working in his favor.
Yeah, you got to give him his credit the way he finished that fight too. He wanted that W.
Yeah, like I said, he won a unanimous 3-round decision. Shout out to Jack Hermanson, the Joker, for that win. Next up on the card, we had Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algeo. The veteran Ricardo Ramos ended up winning 15. Ended up being 15-3 now. Now he just had too much for Bill Algeo all 3 rounds, showed just why veteran versus the newcomer, why you bet on the veteran. And I always preach it. I do not bet against the veterans ever, really, unless it's like a washed up Diego Sanchez type person. But, Ricardo Ramos isn't that type of dude, still young. And so there's no reason to fade him there. But next up on the card, we had Norma Dumont versus Felicia Spencer. And this was a split decision that Norma Dumont won. A lot of people had it for Felicia Spencer, but it is what it is. The fight, ended up going for Norma Dumont. Doesn't matter. I think that ended up hurting a lot of people's bets or parlays. But that's why you don't bet on that lower women's level MMA. And so next up on the card, we had Jared Vandera versus Justin Tafa. Man, dude, T ended up being right on this one. He said he was worried about the size and just the reach of Jared Vandera. Jared looked a little bit better than he ever had, in my opinion. So shout out to him for climbing to be 12-5 now. He was just too much for Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa's a tough dude too, man. He just
outgrinded him in that one.
Yeah, he just didn't have enough heart too in the end of the day. He just was a lot smaller, like you pointed out. And I mean smaller. He was like tremendously smaller. Mm-hmm. So Shout out to our boy Jason Torello, one of the best bettors, primetime himself, MMA for Money. Make sure you go to MMAforMoney.com and get yourself you guys a NASCAR
still
package.
Killing in NASCAR.
I tell you guys, I told you last week to get one, and he still cashed a couple last weekend. So it's just crazy how much money that he cashes for us just with NASCAR alone. And now we got some other sports coming in for NHL playoffs and the like. So make sure to go to MMAforMoney.com. Get yourself a package and support the team because it makes you a lot of money. Shout out to also Ted Hicks in the house. Forgot to shout you out when I saw you there earlier. Johnny B. Good, appreciate you joining as well. I can't say thank you enough to all you guys supporting the MMA for Money show and me and T as we just go through the fights of last weekend. Carla Esparza fought Zonin Yan. Man, dude, this is one where I'm so glad. This is an iffy card. I like to give out 2 bets a card, and I really pride myself in just firing on just picks that could actually win win the bet. And so this week, instead of picking 2 bets separately, I ended up doubling down on the main event. I'll get into that next. But on this fight, I was going to actually bet Yan, the Chinese fighter. I thought she was just had some really good striking, but she doesn't have the ground game and the takedown defense for a girl like Carla Esparza. I talked about it last weekend. She's been here ever since in this division. She just seems to just somehow always squeak by getting these split decisions. And this time she took the judges out of it and won a round 2 TKO KO, but ground and pound by crucifix. You don't see that very often in the women's division, let alone MMA. Shout out to Barrett, the finisher Yoshida down there at the arena in San Diego. One of the best grapplers of all time, our master, the best ever. He just loves that crucifix position. He taught my brother War Machine a lot, that position specifically, and a lot of his ground game in general. And so I just love when I see the crucifix go down because it reminds me of him just dominating. Even though he's a lot smaller, he could just do it to the biggest men you ever seen. So shout out to them down there in San Diego. And then so the main event of the evening was our only bet of the night, baby, ×2. Rob Font fought Cody Garbrandt, and man, won a 5-round unanimous decision. Cash that bet for us for +2 units or +$200 for the MMA for Money show and the MMA for Money team. And for all you subscribers and listeners out there, I put 2.5 units down on Rob Font to win $200, and he cashed that bet easily. 5-round unanimous decision. I told you his reach advantage was 6+ inches, and he was going to have just too much of an advantage at Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt's boxing is really clean. I like it. He's mean, but his chin just isn't as durable as I'd like it to be. In this fight, it's ended up being the boxing of Font was about as equal as Cody's was, but the reach ended up being superior of Rob Font and his jab. His jab was absolutely sexy that night, man. And I don't say that often about jabs, but the jab was absolutely amazing of Rob Font, just keeping Cody Garbrandt at bay and just keeping him just that distance and then coming down with the right hand down the pipe after. And so Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt, shout out to him for not getting knocked out. Me and T both thought that Rob Font was going to TKO KO him. It was almost going to happen a few times in this fight, but it ended up just he had enough chin. So shout out to him for not winning the fight, but just losing it with honor. And so I just
he had heart, man, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I can't say all I care about is winning bets. And for the MMA for Money show, once again, instead of 2 different fights, we went 2-0 on the same fight and cashed that bet for $200. So let's just keep that streak going along. And so with that said, that was the whole UFC fight night, Font versus Garbrandt. It was the main event and co-main event was exciting, but everything else was just kind of whatever. So, but the co-main event and main event kind of made up for it in my opinion. So, but with that said, now we're going to get into some UFC topics that not just UFC, but UFC and boxing, but UFC first mixed with boxing. There's some just rumors in the air that a possible GSP versus De La Hoya on Triller was going around, but I heard Dana White and DC and the likes, Daniel Cormier, kind of shooting down the idea of it because it's not a good idea for MMA's sake to throw GSP out there versus a legend like De La Hoya.
What?
Yeah,
that's why they said that.
Yeah, bro.
Come on,
I mean, it's so no. I believe GSP can beat De La Hoya. I think De La Hoya's done enough coke and hasn't been training as much as GSP's been doing. I like our chances there for the MMA versus boxing side of it. I think the GSP could win it there. It'd be a really exciting event to watch. I appreciate the awards you guys have given us, all 6 of them so far, and the 48 of you live. And appreciate you, Justin Williams, keeping the chat going with everyone. And so, I'd really want to see GSP versus De La Hoya. I think
10 years ago, they might have had a point, 10 years ago,
10
maybe
years.
you could say that, De La Hoya will kill him. But at this point, I
I
ain't
know.
scared of De La
I
Hoya.
want
I'll
to.
box De La Hoya. Let's roll. You know,
Yeah,
like
I want to see it though, and GSP was also caught on air. Being quoted praising Jake Paul and Logan Paul for being so business savvy, but they cannot compete against the MMA elite and or boxing. And I totally agree. I think that the Paul brothers though, you got to give credit where credit's due. If I was making as much money as them on stream as I do here, I would be proud of them for as much money as they bring in for being not the most professional fighters you've ever seen, but they definitely do a good job. Making a brand and having followers and making money. So, like GSP says, they're really smart for being business savvy, but versus the upper echelon of the sport, I just don't think these guys have a chance. And I cannot wait to see the Paul brother. I think it was Logan who's going to get smoked by Floyd Mayweather this coming summer. We'll get into a little bit later, but yeah, it's going to be fun watching the Paul brothers finally pay for their mount.
he's really gonna fight Floyd.
That's 100% deal, 100% going down. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul later this June. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I'm super stoked. I'm all for this celebrity boxing matchups. Some prime time doesn't
Logan.
like. Yeah,
Jake's the one that stole his hat, though, huh? That wasn't Logan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know, and they totally threw you off in there. But I like the freak shows and the weird circus matchups. Pride had some weird ones back in the day. The UFCs were kind of mismatches in the early times. When you went to the circus, it's fun to see the freak show, bro. So I like this type of thing, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. But like GSP said, I don't think you're gonna be able to do it with the upper echelon of the sport. But talking about MMA still, we're getting to John Jones is at heavyweight now. He's been training for a while now, trying to get up there in pounds. He's at 240 pounds, and he says he's going to delay his a fight till probably maybe next year. I'm not very happy about it, but I really do want to see John Jones come in here and fight these guys, versus Francis Ngannou. How do you think he's going to fare? I got my opinion after you.
Against Francis?
The champion Francis, the Predator, Ngannou.
Be a real interesting fight. I don't think John Jones is scared of him. I just think he knows what he's getting into, and he knows if he gets clipped by Ngannou, he's going down, and he knows that. But I can't count him out. It would be. I think it'd be a great fight, and to see if if John Jones could outsmart him and last in there. I think it'd be a great fight, but I have no clue who would win. I mean, you kind of got to lead Ngannou, but like I said, Jones is good, so got to give him somewhat of a shot against him.
Yeah, so I like Francis Ngannou there. I think that he's just too big and too powerful. He's one of those guys that has the freak power that if it just clobbers you behind the ear. John Jones has shown that he is hittable. He doesn't not get hit. He gets hit. He has pretty good defense and doesn't get hit all the time. And when he gets hit, he seems to not it doesn't seem to pay off for the combatant that he's facing. So I like Francis Ngannou versus the John Jones. I think that's why John Jones wants a whole nother year off, is because he knows that he needs a little bit more poundage. And also the cardio just is so much different when you gain on those pounds. When you're like 205 pounds is one thing. But if you're 240 pounds and your diet's different than ever, and you're weightlifting harder than ever, your cardio's just got to be way different. And I think that's what's really throwing John Jones off is his cardio. I don't think it's a scared issue. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just the cardio at the big boy weight now is going to be a lot harder to throw around for 3 to 5 rounds. And if it goes 5 rounds against Ngannou, he better have that gas tank, because he could be knocked out badly, or he could possibly win a 5-round fight versus him. So he needs to have that cardio there, in my opinion. And so I just really want to see John Jones come. But right now, John Jones and Chael Sonnen are in like a constant battle back and forth, just basically disrespecting each other. It's really hilarious. So make sure you go on Twitter, follow Chael Sonnen and John Jones. Both of them are just absolutely hilarious. There's too many different quotes back and forth to go through to get into. But it's just, if you want some entertainment for the day and MMA wise, go check out Chael Sonnen and John Jones going back and forth, just basically talking crap to each other. And then so next up we have some fight news. Thiago Santos is going to fight Johnny Walker to serve as the main event for September 25th, the UFC event for September 25th. I'm stoked for this. I think that that's going to be a dope fight. While it lasts, both these guys are absolute firefighters. So to see Johnny Walker come back and versus a guy like Thiago Santos, someone is going to get badly damaged in this fight. And so I like it for Thiago Santos as well. I think it's a comeback fight. He could actually win if he gets motivated. But lately, he just doesn't seem as motivated when he's in the cage, and it's kind of sad for someone as much skill as him. Yeah, Justin Williams, Chael is a legend. He's the reason why I watch all press conferences and post-fight press conferences is because of Chael Sonnen. He made the sport just so much more fun to watch before and after fights. It made other fighters step it up, and that's why Conor really brought it into his game when he got into the division. So shout out to Justin Williams for bringing that up. Ryan Richardson says he's got bones by some performance-enhancing supplement. Yes, probably something. There won't be any dick enhancement pills, though, that will help him versus Francis the Frediger and Ngannou. I promise you that. The power that guy has is absolute freak. And then another fight that they set up is Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria, set for UFC 264. I'm actually stoked about that. Ryan Hall has been kind of picking and choosing his fights for a long time. Ilia Topuria is not really someone who's been talked about or looked at just with a big magnifying glass, and I like him. I think that he could beat Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall's only game that he's got to me is a really good leg lock game, and that's about it. So that usually gets you punished in the upper echelon of the sport. So that should be a fun fight to see. And then Jan Blachowicz was doing his best Rocky IV impression up in the snow in the hills, training like a madman for his title defense against Glover Teixeira. Man, I don't know what the line is yet. I need to look at that pretty soon. But I just Jan Blachowicz is going to murder the man. Absolutely murder Glover Teixeira. I can't wait to see this fight go down. Jan Blachowicz is just absolutely amazing. We've been fans of him for a long time. The only time that I really haven't been a fan was when I actually liked Izzy. I've been a big fan of Izzy striking. I was really shocked and proud of Jan being able to beat Izzy, because Izzy's striking is no joke, man. And so, yeah, man, with that said, we're going to jump into some boxing. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3 has been announced, or that is the next coming fight that I really, really care about. I cannot wait to watch these dudes get in there and throw down. If you don't know, Tyson Fury's a gypsy, absolute madman, just crazy dude. He's literally like what is that movie, Snatch? He's just unreal, just crazy. He lives the life for real and in real life and just in the ring, man. And so I can't wait to see Tyson Fury versus Wilder 3. It should be really exciting. Let's see what else we got. I know we also got Earl Spence Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao. That's going to be, let's see, what date is that? Excuse me. Tyson Fury is July 24th.
August 21st.
Yeah, August 24th. Yeah. So let me backtrack. I messed this up for you guys. The first boxing event since we're into boxing, let's get into boxing. The first event that's going to be coming relevant. June 6th is Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. That will be the most relevant boxing match that I cannot wait to see. Floyd Mayweather is going to absolutely school the kid. He's going to murder the man. I mean, these guys are finally going to pay. They're going to pay for the grown man game stuff. Like this isn't YouTube anymore. You're fighting Floyd Money Mayweather. This shit is no joke. When he gets in that ring versus him, dude, he's going to crumble. I don't care. He can look good for a couple rounds, but his cardio is going to gas worse than Conor McGregor's did. And people had faith in Conor McGregor, which was crazy. So what do you think about that fight, T?
Yeah, Floyd's. I hope Floyd goes in there fucking mean and just destroys him. I hope he don't even play around with him. I hope he just goes in there and just kills him. You know what I'm saying? Like embarrasses him. I don't want him to look good at all for 1 second. Just show him what's up.
I don't either, man. I want Floyd Mayweather to absolutely school him. And there's been many times where I've even, I've rooted against Floyd Mayweather, but this is one of those fights where it's not going to happen, man. He's going to kill this dude. And it's not even going to be funny, So June 6th, make sure you tune in. Mayweather is going to just school one of the Paul brothers and teach these kids that there's some respect. So I can't wait for that fight. And then the next fight in June 26th, we have Vasily Lomachenko, who's going to fight Masayoshi Nakatani, June 26th. If you don't know Lomachenko, he's probably he is the most exciting smaller fighter to date. He's amazing, man. His cardio, his combinations. The stuff that he puts together is absolutely world class. So make sure June 26th that you tune in for Vasily Lomachenko to school Nakatani. Not that Nakatani isn't good, but I'm just a huge Lomachenko fan. So I can't wait for Vasily to just school the kid. And then we have July 24th. We have Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3. And so, like I said, this is going to be fun, man. These guys are both shit talkers. Tyson Fury is just literally the Gypsy King, and I just love him, man. He reminds me of Brad Pitt on Snatch, and it's going to be really fun on July 24th. You have anything to say about that fight, Tyson versus Fury versus Wilder 3, T?
Not too much. I'm definitely interested in it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I got Tyson Fury by TKO KO or just by pure just decision, just domination. I think he's just too much and mentally in Wilder's head, just too far. I really wanted to see Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to come to fruition. I don't know if it's Anthony Joshua wants a certain amount of money. Lomachenko's a 15-1 favorite. Yeah, that makes sense to prime time. Lomachenko's going to absolutely smash him. Mayweather is a 16-1 favorite, so $1,600 will win you 100. So it shows you how much money you got to have to put down on Floyd Mayweather to make it. But if you had $1 million and you have all the money in the world, I'd put it down on Mayweather. Mayweather's going to school him. It's easy money. It's just not really the smartest bet to do. Usually betting, you don't want to lay that type of money. But Mayweather, Lomachenko, 15-1 odds. So you need to put $1,500 down to win 100, which is like, it's crazy numbers. But like I said, these guys are going to just dominate, in my opinion. Fury is a 3-1 favorite over Wilder. This time around, I know last time I was a lot closer. I believe even Wilder might have been just the edge favorite. So this is the big change on the odds from last time. But Fury is just a madman, man. They doubted him last time, and he came through. So I can't wait to watch Fury versus Wilder 3. It should be super exciting. So thank you, Jason Torello, for the news on that, for the updated news. So yeah, it should be pretty exciting. And then August 21st, we have Errol Spence Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao. That's going to be fun, man. I think it's the passing of the torch, kind of in a sense. As Errol Spence Jr.'s just big time, just big chance to take out a big name, and Manny Pacquiao, the Pac-Man, as he's formerly known as, just amazing champion, a great martial artist, just in general, boxer. Just really good demeanor, a good role model for you to have your kids look up to. But I just think he's a little too old, and Errol Spence Jr. is just a little too powerful now at this age. And I just think that Errol Spence Jr. is going to roll here. So on August 21st, that should be pretty exciting. And then most likely in August, they have Anthony Joshua. Like I said, I don't know why he can't fight my boy Fury, but he obviously can fight this dude, Alexander Usyk. So that should be a fight where Anthony Joshua wins pretty easily. But I think that Anthony Joshua needs to go up and fight Tyson Fury and make it just an exciting fight. But
yeah, they got to do that, man.
It's crazy to me. Yeah, Wilder opened up negative 140 in the second fight. In the first fight, it was 110. So either way, yeah, but it was closer lined, and now it's 3-1 for our boy Fury. So I think that Fury's going to win the fight there. I think that he's just too much. I think he's mentally in Wilder's head, and it really pays off in the end. So, but hopefully one day we see Anthony Joshua versus my boy Fury, because that's going to be the fun shit. So, and then next up, I know T had some celebrity BJJ matches. And so let's get into that.
Yeah, I got a list of celebrities that train.
Brazilian I'll go through a little list of the list. First up on the list is Joe Rogan. Could be on there Russell Brand, Guy Ritchie, Jason Strahan, Russell Peters, Vin Diesel, Jonah Hill, Dave Bautista, I believe it was a wrestler, Chris Pratt, Shaquille O'Neal, who's obviously not going to be fighting. It would be funny to see, though, Shaquille O'Neal in a mismatch versus someone. Joey Coco Diaz, who does jiu-jitsu, but not as seriously as you would think. So, it would be fun to see, celebrity BJJ. It'd be fun to see
Bundy versus Joe Rogan, bro. Al Bundy. That'd be hilarious,
dude. Joe Rogan will kill him, bro. But I'd love to see it too. But remember on MTV they had the celebrity death matches. They were really exciting.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week, man. They need to bring that back.
I think they should have a celebrity MMA match. One UFC fight. It doesn't have to be every event, but like maybe once every so often have a celebrity death match type event where two celebrities that dislike each other can go at it. A good example of two celebrities right now going at it is two golfers from this last weekend. Brooks Koepka, one of the best golfers in the world. He just lost. He got second place to Phil Mickelson, and he was dominating pretty much the whole weekend. He's getting a big controversy with Bryson DeChambeau, and they've been going back and forth. Brooks Koepka hates his metal spikes. Doesn't like that he wears the OG spikes. He says it rips up the green when they putt. I think Brooks Koepka is crying a little bit. In golf, you always wear those spikes back in the day, and I think it's just part of the game. Yes, you can pick up your fat feet and not drag them on the green. So, Brooks Koepka has a little bit of a little room to bitch. But, yeah, so it'd be fun to watch those two golfers go at it in a fight. Brooks Koepka really, really dislikes them. So I'd really love to see them two go at it. They've been going at it on Twitter now. And I think it'd be funny to watch two celebrities go at it. Hello to Lynn. Shout out to you, lady, for being here in the chat. Just saw you right now. And so, but yeah, it'd be fun to watch Joe Rogan versus Al Bundy. But Al Bundy's too young, too old. Joe Rogan's a mean motherfucker. I don't think people get it. BJJ
Bundy's
black
been
belt.
trading a while, dude, and I think he's got a black belt too.
No, he does too. Ain't no slouch, dude. Joe Rogan's another level.
Trained with Henzo Gracie, I think, is who.
Yeah. There's getting your belt, and then there's like earning it big time. And like, I just, it's a little different, bro. Like, Joe Rogan's a mean motherfucker, bro. Like, he not only does he have a black belt in Taekwondo.
Nah, Rogan will probably get him.
He's
Bundy's
just
thick though, man.
But Joe Rogan's really small, so short and stocky. So the wrestling advantage in jiu-jitsu would go to his edge, but the size advantage would go to Al Bundy, so big time in that, because Joe Rogan is short and stocky, and so. It'd be funny, like I said, to have some BJJ celebrity matches go down, or some boxing, or some like these YouTubers, man. They're getting famous because people really want to see these freak shows go down, and so that's why you're going to see Logan Paul get absolutely beat up by Floyd Mayweather, and I'm actually stoked for it. I was stoked to watch, his brother Jake Paul fight Askren, but I knew it was a fix, man. There's no way that was a real fight, even though he could probably beat Ben Askren. But he just literally just walked his head right into the hands of Paul.
Yeah, dude, so that was stupid, bro. I told you. I saw Lawler punch Askren in the head for 2 minutes, and then Askren get up and submit him.
Yeah, Al Bundy is 6'1", 245
pounds. He put a big stupid
pounds.
Boxing glove on Jake Paul, and he's still Askren, bro. You definitely done if you can't take a punch from him now. Like, something's wrong with your brain now or something,
Yeah, totally, bro. So, but yeah, with that said, this week's a little bit shorter of a show. We just wanted to run through the UFC Vegas 27, where we dominated, went 2-0 on the same bet. We doubled up on Rob Font to beat Cody Garbrandt, so we won $200 for our listeners. So make sure you guys are following the show. Next week, we don't have a UFC this coming weekend, so there is no UFC bet for this coming Saturday. I wish we did have some UFC, but we don't. Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy is 6'1", 245. Joe Rogan is 5'7", 195 pounds. Yeah, that size advantage is a little too much. He would probably just pick up Joe Rogan and kind of throw him.
When I looked through the list, that was the only matchup for Bundy really I could see out of that would be kind of interesting because of the size. That's why I thought, because of the size.
Joe Rogan would do it too, so that'd be fun. Joe Rogan's down to challenge anyone in jiu-jitsu, so I don't see why he wouldn't throw down. And so it'd be fun to watch Joe Rogan versus Al Bundy in a jiu-jitsu match. But like I said, I'm all down for the freak shows and the circuses and all the entertaining stuff, because during COVID, man, everyone just needs to just smile and cheer up. Like, it's Mental Awareness Month, so make sure that you guys check in on your loved ones. If you're not hearing from your best friends or your friends that you usually hear from, make sure you message them, make sure that they're doing okay. A lot of people are having financial problems, that they're having family problems, so it's good to go check in on them and make sure that they're also healthy as well. So you never know what people are going through, because I tend to, even myself in my darkest days, thankfully, things are great now. But when I was younger, I tend to steer away from family. So make sure if you guys are, having any difficulties or being depressed, you make sure to check in with someone you love to kind of reboost you and energize you back to the straight path. And if you have someone who hasn't talked to you in a while, make sure you go check in with them, because it's super important to check people's mental awareness, and especially it being a Mental Awareness Month, want to throw that in there, because it's just really important for people to get their mind straight. Mind, body, and soul is a huge thing for you to have all checked into one in equilibrium. And so we just want all of our listeners and everyone to be at their best, have their families doing good. We just can't thank you enough for listening and tuning into the MMA for Money show. Next week, we'll be back to have 2 bets, most likely, for the next upcoming UFC. We'll review any other MMA that comes up, whether it's Bellator or 1FC or PFL, if there's anything also coming. With that said, we just wanted to go through a little bit of some fun stuff, some news that we don't get to go over because the show runs long usually when we have to review UFC and then go through a new upcoming event and then give out bets as well. So this show got to be a little bit shorter and also got to be a little bit different in the sense of we got to talk about some news and some other exciting things. But I just want to shout out all of the Haps friends here listening live. I appreciate you all. I just don't forget to subscribe to us on your platform of choice: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Casts, RSS feeds, and Haps. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube for both full-length shows as well as smaller tidbits to get you through the week. Like, comment, and share to spread the word. And with that, let's roll.